want to make another video about something that I've been noticing when we've been playing Cash especially, but mostly on CD side in general. And that's, I don't really see people using nades as much as they should be to hold people off of sites. So I wanted to like describe that a little bit and give my 2 cents on how it works. But say you're playing A on the CT side, hopefully you're playing A with 2 people. A guy that's usually a common setup is that you have a guy playing somewhere in the site, and you have a guy highway who's like a mid rotator who helps mid if he needs to help mid, and helps kind of spots door and helps A if he needs to, and holds flashes for like main or front of red box or like that. This is generally what this guy does, but okay. One of the most important things on CD side and what is critical to holding a site, if you throw a nade at the perfect timing, like if you have a good nade timing, you will fucking wreck their execute and you will stymie them completely. Especially with a Molotov. Like I know incendiary grenades, I know they're more expensive than Molotovs, but they're by far the most important nade, in my opinion, to have when you're holding a site, especially if you're holding a site by yourself. When you start seeing smokes coming over the wall and you start seeing shit like smoke here, flash, molly, 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 if you just throw like a molly right at the entrance of vein, they're I don't have an incendiary grenade equipped, but here, let me buy one. I can't buy one, fuck. But incendiary grenades are a little bit wider, so they'll but if you throw a molly right here at A main, they're just gonna sit here like, what the fuck do we do? Because they either have to run through a molly and all take like 50 fucking damage just to get through the molly, or they have to smoke the molly and run through it, which is ridiculous. You're just causing yourself to run through a smoke. That's probably what they're going to end up doing, either that, if they have a smoke left, you know, if they didn't use their smoke already for the execute, or they just have to sit there. They just have to sit there forever. Their smokes are fading, the CDs are rotating, they know how many people are there based on how many smokes are thrown. So it's like, you just completely fuck them over. Especially if you throw like 2 mollies, like, you know, when people go A, usually they'll go like a bunch of A main and 1 or 2 door. But as soon as this door opens and you start seeing shit coming over, if the highway guy just throws a molly in there, what's that guy gotta do? What's he gonna do? He's just gonna stand there. But more than just mollies, I feel like flashes are very underrated when you are trying to hold a site. And I think the flash is like the best nade that you can have to stop a rush. Because like, say you're in B, right? Say you're trying to hold B, and there's this guy that's like playing close. Like you have usually have 2 guys B. You have some guy playing in the site, and 1 guy playing close, listening for info. But, or maybe in checker. But say you hear them rushing. Say you hear them just full on holding W. They're rushing. A single flash, like a single pop flash, like I don't know, something like this. If they're all blind, they're gonna stop running. Like they either have to stop completely while they're flashed, or they have to fucking keep running, like while blind. And that's just ludicrous for them to try and run out and peek while they're blind. Like that's just easy frags for right there. So when they're blind, like if you hear the rush, if you have somebody spawning for info to hear the rush, and you pop flash all those people rushing, then they have to stop for a bit, and then you can throw other nades, like. And then you can start throwing mollies at them. You can start nading them. You can smoke them off. You can throw more flashes and wait for rotators. Like this is the key to holding full site takes and holding like rushes. And this is how you don't lose to like bullshit like 5-man Tech 9 rush B 1 flash, or 5-man Tech 9 rush B smoke CT. Like this is how you don't lose to the stupid shit. This. Like the silver brushes that you feel like you're better than, you feel like you should be able to stop, but you just don't know how. Like that's how you stop it. And holding your nades for like the perfect moment and using them to your advantage to hold them off, that's the key. That's the key in my opinion. Well, not in my opinion. That's the key to holding people off of a site for enough time for you to get rotates. But again, this only applies obviously if you have people who are designated rotators. Like on CD side, obviously, if you ever listen to like pro matches or people playing FPL, they'll say something like, okay, I'll play A, and some guy will say, I'll play A rotator. Well, A rotator means usually there's a guy that's like highway. It's usually somebody that plays mid who rotates to A if it's A, and rotates to B if it's B. Like knowing knowing the fastest map rotations is really important and the safest ones. Like if you're on A, obviously like the rotate to A is easy. You just go back to A. But if you want to rotate to B, which one's faster? Do you go through here or you go through here? And it really depends. Like if they're coming out middle, like if they're splitting B and they're coming out middle, obviously this rotate might be a little bit difficult. And you have to give away your spot because you're probably gonna have to break this vent. So that rotate can be good if you have somebody already playing in the vent who's like waiting for someone to come out checker and shoot them through the vent. But generally this rotates better, and it's also cool because you can throw flashes through heaven and catch the whole team blind. I don't think that flash made it. You can throw flashes through heaven, and you can like just throw flashes like that. So you can support your teammate with nades. When you're in checker, you can't really do that. You can't really throw like any decent pop flashes. You're just gonna have to backstab their team and hope that you peek at the right time so you can catch a bunch of people who aren't looking at you. But again, you have to break the other vent, so chances are they're gonna know you're there. So it's important. Like you can use nades to hold off the terrorists for a decent amount of time. A molly will buy you 8 to 10 seconds. Flash buy a few seconds. If you use a flash and then a molly, it'll buy a bunch of time. But if the rotates are coming and you're not communicating like, if you're not communicating to your teammates like, hey, they're all B, I need help, or I need a rotator, and you don't have like the designated guy that's going to rotate, everyone's just going to sit around like, who's going to rotate? What are we going to do? So that's why it's important to have somebody who's a designated rotator and have a little bit more of a coordinated CT side in that sense, and have a little bit more clear communication of who's going to do what and who's going to rotate where. But say like we've been playing a 1-2-2 setup where we've been playing one guy A, the highway rotator, the guy that's designated mid, and the guys at B. So obviously, if they're rushing B, the guy that's going to rotate to B is the rotator, and not the guy that's designated B. Like I'm usually the designated B guy, and I'm usually trying to play like I'm usually trying to change up angles, but I usually like will smoke garage and get in the vent because I think the vent's the best place to play, especially if they're not mauling it off. Like I said in the previous video. Like if they're not mauling you out, the vent is such a strong place to play because you can spot mid, and if the time calls for it, you can just fucking break the vent and come out B, and so it's like the quickest rotate ever, and you're playing 2 spots. But it's important to have this guy that rotates because if I'm in vent, right? If I'm in vent, say I'm in vent and they're not coming B, say I'm in vent and they're going A, my rotate is harder than this guy's rotate. So if this guy's like dicking around, right? And my rotate's probably even harder than like this guy's rotate, because like if I'm in vents, I have to drop out of vents and I have to be exposed to mid forever before I can get to highway. So like while I'm doing this, they can just pop out, throw a flash at me, come over boost, come out there, and hit me from fucking 2 angles, and I'll be dead. So like for me to be the guy that's rotating to A is way harder for me. I can hold B a lot easier and a lot better than the second sight guy. So it's usually better for the second sight guy to also be like the rotator to A. Like rotations like that. If I'm in vent, right? If I'm in vent and I want to rotate to A, usually I'm going to do some sort of lurk where I'm going to either drop out of the vents and go all the way around, or just go through garage. But again, this isn't a very reliable rotate because I'm not helping to hold the site. I'm flanking their team, and if they have a guy who's lurking like in this corner, spawn, or outside a main, waiting for this, then I'm just gonna get fucking wrecked. I'm gonna, it's gonna be a free kill. So like, you can't rely on the guy that's flanking to help your teammates. You really got to rely on the rotators to actually play in the site. So it's important when you're playing B, you have one guy designated B site who only rotates when they're absolutely certain that it's going to be A, or like if it's absolutely certain that it's going to be A, or the A guy's died and they need to shift, like if the bomb is spotted, of course, because it's really important you don't over rotate. Like in fakes are really easy to pull off. Just throwing nades at A and going B, and it's like you don't want to just leave the site completely open. If you give the terrorist a site for free, then you're probably going to lose the round anyway. So it's important that the guy who's designated site doesn't rotate until the bomb's spotted, bomb's down. Then you start rotating. But there's the 2 guys at B are going to be the guy playing B side and the guy playing B rotator, and the guy who plays B rotator is going to be the guy that's helping A, and he's going to be the guy that's immediately like, all right, we saw, or all right, A needs help. I'll go this way. Because say there's 3 guys at A, it's pretty easy for a guy at B to just hide in the site and defend from fucking like 2 people, because If people, like, if there's 3 guys at A and they're throwing shit at A, and then all of a sudden they start throwing shit at B, he has his nades, like I said before, and he can just fucking hide here, flash them, then molly them, and then, you know. Okay, that molly was actually a dick. You should try to land the molly, like, either do that. Like, that's pretty decent molly. Again, incendiary grenades, like, have a little bit of a wider spread, so a little bit more fire. Or you can throw nades and smokes, but... Or the guy at B will catch the guys that are lurking out of B. Like, say they play like 4 guys A, and they play a guy who's B lurking, who's going to come out and try and kill the rotators. Like, if he's still, as long as you don't over rotate and you're still designated B, you can sit here and you can kind of hear the guys running through, and then you can get to the free kill on the lurker. And you know there's going to be, and if you kill the lurker, there's going to be no trade. There's never going to be a trade when somebody's lurking out. So that's what I think. Mollies are really important. Mollies are really important to have on CD side. I feel like we don't buy them enough, and I feel like in our cash games we lose A lot, and that's probably why, because you don't have that good Molotov or that good flash or that good just any nade in general that will stop them. Like, I think the absolute worst nade that you can throw, if you're getting rushed or they're executing, is to throw a smoke at them. If they're rushing out A main, like if they're full on rushing, a smoke's not going to do anything. They're just going to run through it. Like 99 out of 100 times they'll just run through it. There's no if they're on an eco rush or they're just rushing in general. If they're rushing a site, they're not going to stop for a smoke. The only thing that's going to stop them, like a molly might not even stop them. The only thing that's going to stop them is if you blind them all. So like if you blind them all and then you molly them and then you nade them, then you're doing a bunch of damage to them. You're stopping them. They're getting rotates. They're rushed. Their strat's completely dead. Then they're going to have to worry about getting flanked, and if they're trying to rotate, like if they rush B and they start trying to rotate, and there's going to be people who are set up in advanced positions, like, you know, there's 5-man rotating. The guy in B pushes up here, catches these guys, lurks here, catches the guys rotating. Now it's a mess. So you can really tear apart a strategy if you just know how to throw a nade at a perfect timing. And I think nade timing is, like, by far one of the most fundamental things on a CD side that should be understood. So hopefully you got something out of this. Again, I'm not saying I'm the greatest at this either. Like, nade timing is hard. It's hard to know precisely when to throw a Molotov or a flash or a nade, and it's really the timing that matters. It can be like if you throw the nade a second too early or a second too late, you can still get wrecked. Like if you throw the molly when they're already out A main, it's not going to do anything. If you throw it when they're already back, they can do fast rotates. So it's like having that precise timing is exactly what you need, and that only really comes with playing the map a lot and practicing. But hopefully this cleared some stuff up, and we can practice this.